Hi, my name is Dr. John Douillard. I want to talk to you today about fatigue from the Ayurvedic perspective and the Western perspective. Ayurvedically, we know that there are these two energies, one called prana, which goes into your brain to give you mental clarity and function for the day's stress, and apana vata, which goes down for elimination, reproduction, and adrenal function. When you're under a lot of stress, the apana vata goes north and gives you energy, but it keeps a record of how much money was borrowed. And we have to pay off that debt. From the Western perspective, the adrenals go and borrow money. When you're under a huge amount of stress, the adrenals will go to the reproductive organs and it'll borrow money from those hormones to precurse them, like testosterone that gives you sex drive, to precurse that into cortisol to give you energy, which you don't really have to go, handle more stress in your life. It'll go to your blood sugar to make you crave sweets and dark chocolate and candy to give you energy which you don't really have. It'll go to your thyroid and upregulate your thyroid metabolically to give you, again, energy that you don't really have and go further into debt. So our culture says, well, if you have adrenal fatigue, take an adrenaline support, a stimulant to stimulate you to make more energy that you don't really have and actually go further into debt. And this sort of tendency tends to drive us further into exhaustion and make the problem worse. Where from the Ayurvedic perspective, say, why don't we just pay off the debt, right? And help rebuild the adrenals and help rebuild the body's ability to make energy so it can handle the stress like water off a duck's back. It doesn't have to borrow from Peter to pay Paul to get itself out of harm's way or to help to deal with stress. So there are some herbs, some adaptogenic herbs, which are phenomenal in Ayurveda. One called ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is an herb called the strength of 10 horses. It gives you the energy to go run a marathon, but also gives you the energy to sedate yourself at night and can put you to sleep. So you can take it in the morning for energy and before you go to bed for a good night's sleep. It's an herb that supports a healthy thyroid function. It's an herb that is a precursor to the testosterone that your adrenals borrowed to make energy which you didn't really have, and it pays back all that debt. It's even supportive for your blood sugar. Another herb, phenomenal herb called shilajit. Shilajit is an herb also called ashwagandha or bitumen, which is an herb in India that has been used for energy for thousands of years. The Sherpas take this to get more oxygenated blood at very high altitudes. This herb has diprenols and fulvic acids, which we now know from science that says that the mitochondria, the energy production sites in our body, use those diprenols and fulvic acids to make energy. So we now know that this ancient Ayurvedic energy and sort of longevity herb actually is good science to prove why it actually does deliver more vitality, but it also pays back the debt of the mitochondria and the adrenals so we can actually it's not a stimulant to make us drive us to make more energy we don't have and go further into debt. It pays back the debt, helps the mitochondria be more functional, drives more oxygen into the deep tissues. Another herb called gokshura. Gokshura has been used for kidney function and adrenal function and another precursor to the reproductive hormone testosterone to make energy. Another herb been used for thousands of years for energy production, another really important herb to know about. And the last one called Brahmi or Centella asiatica, a phenomenal herb used for mental clarity, memory, sleep, longevity, aging for years and years and years, thousands of years. And new research now shows that the Brahmi, the Centella asiatica, heals and supports the function of the skin, not this skin, but the skin of your intestinal tract, where the environment needs to be balanced to support the health of the microbes, which make the neurotransmitters, which make the hormones, which do the heavy lifting for our energy, for our mood, for our vitality, and for our immunity. We now know that our energy, vitality, mood, and overall health is supported by the microbes. And we now have herbs that support, with some intelligence, the bringing of balance back into the body versus just driving the body with energy that it doesn't really have to stimulate it to feel better for today, but further be exhausted tomorrow. This isn't good enough. We need to understand how to pay back the debt and give the body the energy it needs so it can handle stress easily like water off a duck's back. So those are some herbs. There's a great article where I cite the research about these herbs so you can get more information about how to reboot and rebuild your adrenals without stimulating it to go further into debt. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. John Douillard.
This recording is brought to you by LifeSpa, where ancient Ayurvedic wisdom meets modern science. Get access to free health video newsletters by Dr. John at lifespa.com.